everyone, and welcome to another video by Fitness Technology Services. So today's video is really going to be on this Horizon T101 that I'm working on. It was originally called in as after a half hour, maybe an hour, everything kind of gets hot and it just kind of overheats. And that is normally because of friction on the walk belt. So people usually think it's the motor or the controller or something, but not normally too much. When the walk belts get worn, they just draw too much amperage, and no matter what machine you're on, you really got to keep it underneath 4 or 5 in this little test that I'm doing. So hopefully you can see it. It's currently now 1.90, under 2 amps. Everything is tested at 3 miles an hour. And I hope this comes out on the film, but if nothing else, you just have to kind of take my word on it. And it's AC amperage. So I have my meter clamped across the AC leads, and currently I'm reading, well, it was 190, it's even better now, 1.88. So typically when you walk on the belt, you want it to really go into the 3.5, 4.5 range. So I'm going to let you know what it is. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But if not, you'll just have to trust me. Alright, so as soon as I step on it, without really even walking too much, it immediately goes into the 6 range. So if you're walking on this thing for a half hour or so, 7. So the first place you have to start when your amperage changes so much, from 1.87 to 7, you have to start with the walking belt. Alright, so that's the next thing that we're going to do, is we're going to replace this walking belt. But that's all I really want to show you on this half of the video. Hopefully you can see that. If not, you'll have to trust me. But anyway, let's change this walking belt. Alright, thanks. Well, hey guys, so today we're going to change a walking belt on a Horizon T101. This is another service call video. Customers let me do a video while I do the repair on their machine. So to change the walking belt on this, you got to take these 2 rear end caps off. So this one I know you can see. Now this model also has, and you got to be careful with some of the Horizons, some of the screws built in underneath. So there is also a screw right underneath here. Alright, so then we're going to take the end cap off. So we're going to go ahead and do this to the other side too. You can't see it, but I'm just on the other side of the machine, taking the other side's end cap off. Alright, so I got both end caps off. The next thing we want to do, just like on all my other videos, we are going to mark where the rear roller sits in it, so that after I change the belt, I kind of know where it is. So I'm just going to put a little mark on the metal frame right here. Maybe a little different on the new belt, but at least this will give me a general idea. So I just took a marker and I just marked right where it sits. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen up this rear roller, and then we're going to kind of do the same thing on the front. There are some little subtle differences on the T101. Not really too much, but let me take this rear roller out. Now Horizon always uses, can you see this guys yet? A number 6. This belt's really tight. tight. Alright, so I'm using this number 6 Allen wrench. I know you can't really see me, but I'm just going to loosen it up some, and I'll go to the other side where you can. Boy, I might have to get my sock out for that. That is really tight. That takes a little pressure off. All right, that's a little warm. Take this off. All right, it's spinning much better now. I'm just going to completely remove the rear roller. I usually do both sides a little at a time. Right now I'm doing the right hand side, out of camera view. But I got changing horizon belts and all that stuff. I'm just doing this for our T101. Just because it's got little teeny tiny minor differences in it, really. Not much. Not quite by hand yet. I'm gonna have to get my impact out for the next one. Turn it by hand. It's wasting your time and just killing me. Sorry, I'm not better set up with my tools. All right, save that rear roller bolt. All right, so we got the rear roller out. And you can see all this. This is just where the old belt, the old bottom half of the belt, is just rubbing off on the rollers, all right? So hold on one second. I want to show you the one thing. It's not really tricky. It's just a little different, all right? Hang on one sec. All right, so step 2. So really there's no difference between this and Sol and Nordictrack and all that. They're all kind of the same. The only difference on the horizon, they have a little screw that kind of holds this side rail in place. So there's a screw underneath here. So I am going to remove this. Proform does this too, by the way. And some Nordictracks have a little screw. I guess it's not little, it's probably an inch or 2 long. Alright, so you just need to know to do that. Otherwise you're going to go through a lot of time trying to slide this side rail down. Now, so we have to remove the front cap. So this is another little thing that Horizon does. It's not really necessarily different Well, I guess it's different, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. You got to know to pop this little cap off. And there's usually a hidden screw right here holding this little side cap on. So we're going to remove our secret hidden screw. Now this should just slide down. Alright, so at this point it's the same as the other machines. I know I messed your image up a little bit. No, you're right, man. It got me an audience today, by the way. So, yeah. Alright, so we're just going to remove that. We're still working towards this. We have to remove all these Allen heads right here, kind of lift this up and slide this on. So give me one more second and I will get to you on the next phase. But side caps off, rear rollers off, and this is next. Alright, so the next stage is we're going to remove these Allen bolts here. Just wanted to make note of one little thing. On the Horizon machine, they have a little ground wire here. So I'm going to remove that. If you don't, it'll break. I'm not even sure what the purpose of it is. So it's a ground wire, so I'm assuming it's for a ground somehow or the other, all right? So next thing to do, we're just gonna loosen these. I like to loosen them all first. Make sure everything's turning good. Then the screws are stuck. All right. So let's see. I did the other one by hand, but I can't do any more work by hand because it's going to drive me absolutely nuts. So I'm going to use my drill, which is way more quicker and efficient than this. And you don't want to watch me turn a bunch of screws for no reason, now do you? No, you do not. All right. So in theory, this should just lift up. So now we're going to do our final stage before we change the belt, and I got to remove the front roller. So the front roller screw is attached on the other side over there. I don't think we have enough slack. Ooh. Really? Now this I didn't know myself. I might not even need to remove the front roller. What do you know? That's nice. All right, hold on one second while I get the belt out. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and remove the front roller, even though it's got enough play where I think I can get the belt off without it. But since this is going to go on YouTube, I don't really want to be embarrassed. So I'm going to mark this. This is where the front roller goes. Give or take a turn or two, but it'll give me the rough idea. Then I'm going to remove the same type of screw that I removed in the back. Screws turning really easy, don't need my impact, so that's always a good sign. Alright. No junk on the front roller, but if you want to clean it.
Oh, this is different.
But that looks, yeah, it's perforated, so the belt kind of sticks to it a little bit. Alright, so the next thing, as I've done in my other videos, the old belt is now officially wasted, so I'm just going to cut it off. You're not going to save the old belt for anything, are you, man? Yeah, I didn't think so. Alright, then just like everybody else, I'm just going to remove this. Now this has got a lot of debris on it. Some of the other debris didn't need to be cleaned, but I think we do need to clean this right here. So can I borrow? Thank you very much. So if you can see all this in the camera, this is just bits and pieces of the old belt just wearing off. And see this stuff here? This turns into a clay. When the bottom of the belt tears up and it mixes with the lubricant, it becomes a clay. And that clay actually impedes the belt flow, for lack of a better word. The belt moving smoothly. Huh? We're going to have to clean this up Just a little bit. So that part of the deck is pretty important to have clean. And as you can see, there's no scratches, no dents in this deck. So we don't need to change the deck. Unfortunately, you don't know that half the time until after you get the belt off. But we are good to go today. All right, so let me grab the belt real quick. All right, so both rollers are out. Side rails are off. Belt here, box is there. So just kind of like making your bed, I'm just going to disappear on you for a second. Lift this up, put one end in, put the other end in. Now another sign, if your belt is slick and your deck is good, it should be nice and slippery. I've had some machines where even where it's brand new, you can't slide it around like this. So the easier it moves around, the slicker the surface is, and the more efficient that it will run. So I'm going to get my rollers ready. Well, let's see, can I do that live camera action? So we're going to stick it right here for right now. Now, why are you taking pictures? You don't trust my video?
No,
It's your machine I'm videoing, ma'am.
Yeah, but I want
I'm just teasing with you.
This is to show my kid what it looked like with the
Fitness
stick.
Technology Services YouTube is how you.
I'll give you my stills too.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm just gonna pop this other rear roller back here. Well, pop's not the right word, huh? Let me get in your way. So let me place the rear roller back here. There, just count that as a quick little pop, that's all. All right. And then I bump into it again, and then I move it. All right. So I'm gonna put the camera on pause just for 1 second. And then I'm going to put the bolts back in. Matter of fact, maybe I can do it quickly enough where I won't waste your valuable viewing time. So at first, just to make sure things move smoothly, I kind of like to do everything by hand. I know, it'll take you a couple seconds longer. But at least then you know the threads and everything are good. All right? Let me angle this down a little bit. Come on, baby. Here we go. See the rear roller right there. Yep. All right. So the rear roller adjustment bolts. And there is usually a slightly larger threading just to kind of make the screw go in. Well, there actually is on either one. So on this particular roller, there is no front or back. That's good. Both screws are kind of tapered. So. Have a good sign. Turning nice and easy. So this machine's a couple years old, And I'm pretty sure it's not going to go back to my original markings. It's going to be a lot more up front. So that's good. In theory, that's to give the belt more room to stretch. But by the time the belt stretches that far, it tears apart, so it doesn't really do you any good. All right. So now, don't forget, we got to put our little deck bolts in, for lack of a better word. That is actually what they're called, so it's not really a matter of a better word or not. So just so I don't take up all your time. But I don't want to do the old usual repeat steps of installing. That's just lazy. Time to get your little ground screw. But we're grounding wood, so I'm no electrical engineer, but grounding wood doesn't really feel like I'm grounding anything, but that's what it is. So can we see these? All right, so I'm going to tighten these down. Let me change the camera angle just a little bit on you guys so you can see a little better. There. All right. So much better than doing it by hand. Oh, so much faster, so much better. You know, I almost died just by doing that by hand. You get spoiled by your tools. All right, so the next thing we need to do is I need to attach this front roller motor belt, which is pretty simple to do. I'm just going to kind of force it on, like so. Now this is one of the ones where it's kind of hard to explain. Instead of a hole being right here, it's like a slot. So the belt will have a tendency to pull back a little bit until you fully tighten up the rear roller. Then it will kind of all fall into place. So I'm going to put the camera on hold for 1 second, and then I'm going to show you the rear roller adjustment bolts. All right? Hang on. Alright, so on the next phase here, we're just going to adjust this a little bit. Typically it's 2 to 3 inches worth of slack in the belt. So again, you don't want me to have a panic attack, so I'm going to use my impact. And so I'm purposely not going back as far as my mark, because it's a brand new belt, and I bet you they've adjusted it over the years they've had it. Is that true? Have you adjusted it some? Oh, that's not true. It's just she didn't bust me out on that. How do you like that? Okay, so that feels close enough. So, as a reminder, this is not going back as far as my mark. I'm going to run it. The front is back in the mark because that shows where the center of the front roller is, so that we can kind of get a good idea. So this slides back on here like this. It's kind of easy to do, so I'm not going to show you that. So I'm going to put it a little further together, and then for testing procedures, I will get back with you. So hold on 1 second. All right, front roller's in, back to the mark. Rear roller's in, yeah, not so much to the mark. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate it. So I'm just kind of putting squirts of it, I guess. In one video I used the word drop, drop, drop. Somebody didn't like that, so continual lines across the deck. Perhaps that's a better wording. All right. most important thing is to get the lubricant as far to the middle as you possibly can, because you just don't walk on the outside edges. Alright. So next, we're going to just slide on this side rail here. And don't forget, although if you do, it's not the end of the world. On the bottom of this is that little screw that kind of keeps this from sliding, but it actually won't slide when you have both the caps on it. But they have a screw back there, so I always put it back. All right, so next phase is going to be putting these end caps on. I guess actually I can do that on this one. I try and keep these things as short as I possibly can. So this is going to go in here. If I can do it. Well, that's not successful, is it? All right, hang on. Sometimes I'm too cocky. Like that. So there's a screw that goes in here. Don't forget there's one in the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And then I will take you through adjusting the belt at the end of it, all right? That's pretty much the end of how you install a belt on a Horizon treadmill. This is a T101 again. Okay, I'll get the last phase to you coming right up. All right, so belt is on. Everything seems to be okay. Usually before I walk on it, I like to make sure it moves smoothly. I wish I would have done this on the other belt, because I bet you I couldn't even have moved it at all. All right, so let's turn the machine on. And we will see what its amperage are. All right, so you always check them at 3. So I'm putting it on 3 miles an hour. That's got to be a little on scale. It can't be that much better. That's AC. There we go. Really? Let's let that pick up. It's got to be higher. Saying 0.3, but a new belt can't make that much of a difference. I think that's got to be wrong. Put that on hold for 1 second. That can't be right. Hold on, that can't be right. All right, guys. So the belt's on. Looks pretty much centered. Looks perfectly centered. I'm just chit-chatting. All right. So with the new belt on, it's 1.38. Now, before when I was out here a couple weeks ago, went into the 9. And just a second ago, as I did my little test, it was into the 7s. All right, so now with the new belt, so perfect. So with the new belt, it's 1.86, 1.91. So anything under 6 is considered good. Anything under 4, you know, I hate to use this word, but it would be considered perfect, really. Wow, okay. Went all the way up to 2. Woo! So that's pretty perfect, guys. All right, so a belt took this machine from 7 to 9 amps down to 1.9 to 2.5. That's a pretty amazing workload difference, all right? So I think that's it for changing the belt on a Horizon T101. I will see you again next time. Thanks a lot for viewing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.